My name is Courtney and I'm initially from New York City. And I moved with my family to Charlotte, North Carolina, about 18 months ago. In March, we took in a Ukrainian refugee family. Found them through a local moms group on Facebook. There was a woman, Katya, who is Ukrainian, and she was looking for volunteers to help Ukrainians who were trying to come to the United States.
Katya created a charity organization called UAwelcome to help Ukrainian refugees to find host families.
Right. So I filled out a form probably the end of February, sent it over, and maybe 2 weeks later, I was out with my husband. We were at a party, and I got a text message from Katya asking if we would take in a family. And I had never even mentioned to my husband that I had filled out this form. And I just asked him, I said, Fred, would you be okay with taking in a Ukrainian, family? And I love my husband so much, but like without even batting an eyelash, he said, yeah, sure, absolutely, let's do it. And it's been a really, I think, one of the most rewarding things that we've ever done in our life.
It's not very easy to decide to host somebody at your home for a long time. It's a commitment.
When we were seeing what was going on in Ukraine, we had some discussions in our house, and we have 3 children. Our oldest is going to be 16, and then we have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. And we try to teach them that if you can make a difference, if you can help someone, genuinely help them, we help them. Especially being Jewish people, I saw some correlations with the Holocaust as well, and I really felt that what if this could be anyone? This could have been me, 50 years ago. This could be anyone. And we were given an opportunity to help a family. We didn't feel like we had a choice. We just felt driven to do it.
Did you had the chance to see the family before? What kind of family did you get? Did you had like any choice opportunities in general?
I saw a picture, and Katya had told me, she asked me about myself and my background and my interests and our family. And then she kind of like said, oh my God, I think I have the perfect family that you'll get along with. And she was right. We have a family, 2 sisters, 27-year-old, a 41-year-old, and her son, who's 10. And I mean, it almost sounds like a lie, but I mean, they really have become like our American family. I would be friends with them if I met them anywhere. Like we really just have a connection. Now it's just a mother and a son, Nata and Igor. But we also had Tanya with us as well, who's 27, as she's since, moved. She's in a relationship now with someone from Ukraine who's been here for a couple of years, and she's moved in with him.
What it's like to have people you have never met before from the whole other part of the world.
My family's just kind of chaotic and crazy as it is. So it wasn't that different. I grew up right next to Brighton Beach. Growing up over there in the 80s, I had many classmates that were from the former Soviet Union. And they became, some of my closest friends growing up. So I understood the culture quite a bit. My grandparents, great-grandparents, they're all from, Ukraine and that part of the world, and came as refugees, being Jewish to the United States. So it wasn't that much of a culture shock, but we just got along. I mean, I will say that the family that we took in speaks English. So I think that made it a lot easier, to connect. Than it would if, their English wasn't as good as it is. But what was really awesome was when we decided to do this, Katya had asked me if I know anyone else that would also be interested. So I went on our neighborhood, Facebook group for our community, and I just put it out there, like, are there any other families that, would be interested in hosting? And right away, 3 families agreed. And they also took in families. So we had like a whole community within our community. The positive is that, we had a really great experience with the family that we're hosting. And I really think and believe that we will be, forever in touch and forever friends. We have a connection. And the other families in my neighborhood who also took in families, we all had good experiences. And we all are, we're still in contact. We have dinner together. Even the families that have moved away and are now on their own, we're still in contact.
Do you have some ground rules? What would you advise to people who are thinking about hosting a family?
I think what's important is to have boundaries and have discussions up front. So, I mean, things just like, how are we going to handle groceries? This is a discussion that should be discussed, up front. Who's kind of going to be in charge of, what kind of chores, all these things, so that there's no room for surprise or, disappointments. When the family came to us, like immediately, we just discussed, how are we going to handle grocery shopping? Who's going to be cooking meals? And we kind of just decided that we'll just all contribute. If milk is running low, someone will buy milk. Anytime that we're cooking, we'll always just make a little bit of extra, and they do the same. And it's been working out for us. But I know, other families that have done this, in our neighborhood, they have other arrangements, and that, that works for them. I know Nada said to me when she first moved in, she said, please, if I ever do anything that upsets you or that annoys you, please be upfront with me, so I know and I won't do it again. And, I kind of said the same thing to her, because it is, I mean, you're living with you're taking on a whole nother family, within your family. So there are going to be times where, you get annoyed, just like you would with your, your children, your spouse, that's just how it is when you live with someone. But I feel that by having open communication, we've made it work. And the same with the other families who are also hosting in our community. A lot of people are doing what they can. People dropping off clothing, furniture, and then we're able to get that out to, a lot of the other Ukrainians that are in the area here. It might not be hosting a family, but we had people who were buying grocery cards and gas cards and, just whatever they can do with what they have to help. And that really is the beauty of like a terrible situation, is you do see that side of people. It's a story by Lauren Isley, and it's not long, but I just wanted to get it right, so I'm going to read it. I think it's such a beautiful story, and it's something that influences a lot of what we do, and definitely influenced us making the decision to host refugees. And I feel like it will help other people as well. One day, a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking something up and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "What are you doing?" And the boy replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out, and if I don't throw them back in, they'll die." "Son," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and thousands of starfish? You can't possibly make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it back into the surf. Then, smiling at the man, he said, "I made a difference for that one." What I get from that is that this is a tragic situation. It's terrible. And it could, I can empathize, and I can really feel like this can be any of us at any time, and it just happens to be Ukraine right now. And maybe, sitting here in my office in Charlotte, I don't have war strategies, I really don't understand the situation as a whole, but for this one family, I can make a difference. I can help them have some normalcy and make lemonade out of just a really terrible situation.